Good morning, everybody. 8:10 a.m. It is August 4th. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Crazy sell-off in the markets yesterday. Market internals for me when I looked at the market just got worse and worse and worse. And I was stalking a short, and I just didn't see what I wanted. I was looking for a big exhaustion with buyers to short, and it really never came, and then it just fell and fell later. So, um, but that's trading, right? So that's what we have going on this morning. We got Joe's jobs today. I didn't think we would break out of this balance prior to NFP and unemployment. I didn't think we would do that, but September obviously is seasonally bearish. I'm just curious what happens with this. Maybe they're pricing in unemployment ticking up. I don't know, right? You really don't ever know. But that's what's going on. Without further ado, welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use volume profile and market profile to find structure in these markets, along with supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, anchor VWAPs, and the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the preceding day. Gives me my edge. It's my roadmap. It's how I look at the markets, and I will continue to do this because it's all a game of probabilities, right? It's all a game of probabilities, and hopefully you guys can join me every day at 8:10 a.m. If you subscribe, set an alert. That would mean a lot. And if you enjoy my content, give me a big thumbs up, smash that like button for me. That would mean a lot to me. You could always follow me on X at Gonzo719, and you could always there's my X, and you can always follow me on TikTok, Gonzo719 Trader. Okay, alrighty. Why don't we get into the futures right now? Watch list and see what's going on this morning. Boom. There we go. Let's look at this watch list. Let's see who's leading, who's lagging. And we got a VIX. We got a VIX that is up 10.71%. Okay. Expect big moves in the market today because volume is back. Now we have volatility at a 22, almost a 23. Yeah, this market's going to go. This market's volatility and range is going to expand today. All right. Oops, sorry about that. Let's go back here. All right, so we got the VIX. We got crude. Crude took a big hit. I think it was down to $69 a barrel. It's kind of coming back now. I think OPEC was going to look to do add to supply, and now they're thinking about not doing that. So we'll have to see that. Silver's down, up 0.29. 30-year bonds being bought up 2.2, 0.20. Gold is flat, down 0.10. The dollar is down 0.12. Dow's down 0.18. ES down 0.39. Russell's down 0.44. 10-year yield is down 0.52 at 3.81. NASDAQ is down 0.67. That's the relatively weak index, right? Ether down 1.95. And Bitcoin, oh boy, Bitcoin's down 2.58, down to 56K. So tried to make that comeback, but now it's falling back. Interesting, right? Interesting. Let's go to Mag 7. All right. AMD is the lone wolf here, up 1.87%. I don't know why that is right now, but I didn't really see any news or anything like that yet. Maybe someone else can let me know that, but I haven't seen anything. Berkshire Hathaway has been on a tear. You look at that chart, it's ridiculous. I forgot yesterday to mention, just real quickly, financials, healthcare. I think it was in staples. All these sectors are at all-time highs. So frothy in some of those sectors besides tech. All right. Let's see here, and then let's just go to the bigger losers here. Let's see. This morning we got Google down 0.61, Meta down 0.62, Amazon down 0.62, Microsoft down 0.67, Tesla's down 0.76, Apple's down 0.80, Broadcom is reporting earnings this week, down 0.98, and Nvidia down 1.73 down to 106. They are getting investigated for being a monopoly. Department of Justice looking into them. I just read that like 90% of these lawsuits are lost. So it usually probably means nothing. It means usually nothing at all. So we'll keep that on watch though. All right, now let's go on to the top sector stocks here. Leading the pack, United Healthcare and Exxon and Chevron. And let's go to some laggards here. We got Disney, Salesforce, Uber, Eli Lilly down 0.68, and Qualcomm down 0.88. All right, moving on to swings. Baba's the leader here, up 0.64. There's not a lot of leaders here. Alcoa, I believe, got an upgrade. Uh, Look at that. TLT is up 0.26. Devon Energy up 0.21. Not much here to look at. Let's look at laggards here. Dollar Tree reported earnings, not good. Down 10.61%. Bitcoin's knocking down some of these. Mara down 2.82. Supermarket Computers is just hurting as of late, down 2.78. Bitcoin ETF down 2.49. Intel, more bad news. They had some kind of test with Broadcom that failed, so they're down 2.24%, down to $19 a share. It's crazy. Palantir down 2%. Riot down 1.92. MicroStrategy's down 1.9. Was that Ring Central? There's a bunch of losers here. Crowd, Dell, Dollar General, Nordstrom, Taiwan Semiconductors, Affirm, all down. Hood, I think that's Dick's Sporting Goods. I think they're reporting earnings this week, or they did already. SoFi, Palo Alto, SoundHound. So just a bunch of red there. All right, moving on to top sector. Moving on. We already talked about that. Moving on to the sectors. Here we go for sectors. We have energy up 0.15, followed by utilities. All right. Then we have laggards here are discretionary, down 0.34. Technology, the heaviest weighted sector in the S&P, down 0.82. All right, semiconductors down 1.22. So the semis continue to be weak. All right, so they are down 1.26%. Usually means risk off. Just have to see what is going on there. All right, now we can move over to the economic calendar. Some news. Boom. All right. All right. So we have today balance trade, export imports. That's at 8:30. Jolt's jobs basically at 10 a.m. Jolt's jobs looking for openings, looking for a consensus of 8.1 million job openings. All right. See how that comes out. Um, so that's really it for the economic calendar. Let's go to upgrades, downgrades. Let's see. That list should probably filled out more. Yeah. Okay. Let's go here to upgrades. So here's the Alcoa upgrade. Boyd Gaming got an upgrade. Coupang got an upgrade. FCX neutral to a buy. Actually, a Nasdaq exchange got an upgrade. That's really it. All right, downgrades. Let's check out those downgrades. ASML semi downgrade. Okay. Bookings downgraded. All right. Let's look at initiations. Let's see here. Let's see anything to note. Initiations. Trade desk initiated at a buy. That's really the only one to note here. Price target changes. We'll go to raises first. What we got here? Philip Morris target raised from 125 to 139. Let's see here. Aflac target raised. Adobe target raised from 580 to 625. That's about it there. All right, now we got target lowers. Asana target lowered. All right, that's about it. That's about it there. All right, let's look at the juice. Now, the only big thing was the NVIDIA gets DOJ subpoena. That's really it there. Let's go to NVIDIA. We already talked about that. Dollar Tree, we talked about. The stock slumped 12%. Hormel Foods, also stock fell 5.1. Asana stock fell 14 after the software company reported a challenging quarter. And that's about it there. Let's go to more news here. Let's just see. So here's the exclusive Intel manufacturing business suffers setback as Broadcom tests disappoint. Intel's contract manufacturing business has suffered a setback after tests with chipmaker Broadcom failed. Three sources familiar with the matter told Reuters, dealing a blow to the company's turnaround efforts. All right. Let's see. Anything else to note here that I didn't talk about? Let's see here. Nothing really to talk about there. And I think we could just look at earnings real quick to see if I'm missing anything. All right, so before the open today is Dick's Sporting Goods. All right, Dollar Tree, Hormel. That's why they're in the news. After the close, you got AI, Hewlett Packard. All right, the big one this week is really Broadcom. After the close on Thursday, it's a heavily weighted stock. All right, I think we can move on to daily charts. We'll dive in more with that. All right. So we broke out of this balance. Like I said, I was a little surprised. And where did we go? Let's get a little closer here. We went right to the 50-day and the 20-day simple moving average. And then got bought up, right? But obviously the market's down about a little bit now, but it got wicked right there. 20-day simple moving average, 50-day moving average, boom, got bought up there, or people took profits, right? So it broke this 555, which was like a key support. It broke that, right? And then it just dumped later in the session pretty significantly. Really significant. It was a low yesterday. The low was 549.51. 549.51 was the low. Crazy. And like I said earlier, I was looking around 557 and change to short. And I just didn't see what I wanted to see, even though the market was super weak. And I just said, you know what? If I don't have what I want, I'm not going to go in. And then, of course, it winds up falling. I just didn't get to see what I wanted, which is fine, right? All right, where are we now? 549. Let's call it 549.82. 549.82. We are at the lows of yesterday. We're at the lows. All right, now you can see, if you look to the left here, there's a gap. There's a gap. Now in futures we'll talk about it, but there's a gap below here, right here. Big gap up here. That's what kick saved this market. Now, do we go into this gap and fill that gap eventually? I don't know. Okay, I don't know. So, that's one to look at here. You got that gap. Now, here is the high of that candle before the gap. That's about 545. 545. Okay. So, if we threaten here and you got that void here, we could end up there. Don't know when, don't know how. Crazier things could happen. We could even go all the way up to 555 today if you get a push. I don't know. I don't know. So let's look at the live look of futures. Let's look at the live look of futures. All right. So in futures, yes, you broke the 50, you hit the 20. That's what we're doing in futures. Okay. You could see last week's lows are below last week's range, right? Okay. Had that big resistance up here. So we broke the bottom of balance. Right now, it's all about, is this a test below balance or is it a move? Okay. That's what you want to really concentrate on now is, do you get continuation? Because if you go back into range, we're going to go all the way back to the other side of range. That's balance rules. Okay, balance rules. Okay, we have to see. Don't know. Really don't know. Qs. Qs. What the Qs do? Now remember, Qs were not in that little nice symmetrical balance that ES was in or SPY was in. Dumped pretty hard. Now where did it go? Now initially, it was kind of playing with this 20-day simple moving average. Okay, and last week's lows. It was playing with it. It was like, okay, are people going to buy last week's lows? Right? And then you have this gap. Well, it filled the gap, okay? Filled that gap and then winded up getting support by the 100-day moving average right here. So the 100-day moving average supported the market yesterday in the Qs, okay? But in one day, it took out the 50, the 90 MA daily, the 20-day simple moving average and hit the 100-day, all right? Where are we now? 458.50. So 458.50 is, wow, 458.50. It is gapping down right now, the Qs. Oh, it's relatively weak again. Okay. Where is a place that we could go? Right? So there's another little gap here. And this is a monthly low. All right. So let's look at this level 454.30. So 454, 455. We could end up there. Okay. We could end up there. Now, in futures, there's a huge level coming up. The most traded price of the year and the rolling year. Okay. So we have to see, but just keep this on your radar, the 454 level. 454. Okay. Let's look at the live look, futures. Okay, so you can see it's pushing down, just like I said, right? And in futures, that level would be 187.21. Okay, I believe the most traded price of the year is the 185.40 something. We'll get into that later, but that's the big level, which is in here. Okay, we have to see. Okay, below all moving averages in the futures, right? All below everything except the 200-day. Where's that at? Oh, well, this is different. This is futures. So forget about what I just said there. All right, so wraps up our daily charts. Okay, that wraps up our daily charts. We're going to go into triple-headed monster and check in with the 10-year yield. All right, zoom out a little bit. There's that swing low, still acting as support all the way to the left here. Okay, waiting for NFP and unemployment. See where we go, right? See where we go. Now, second head, we got the dollar. That dollar has been rising off the same thing, the swing low to the left here, right? It's got some buying came in here. So have to see. Usually a stronger dollar weighs on equities and commodities, okay? Now, let's go to that third head, the VIX. Now the VIX, woo boy. VIX is rising up, baby. 22.94 VIX. That is very volatile. And we have relative volume is high again. Okay, September, people are back, big institutions, all that, they're back from vacations. Big boys are back. Okay, so today expect expansion in ranges. I'm probably going to have to lower my size to accommodate it, because now we have volatility and volume, which is great for trading, but you got to recognize the environment. So the ranges are going to be expanded today. Okay, ranges will be expanded. So be mindful of that. Be mindful of that. All right. Now that wraps up our triple-headed monster. We can now go to the main event. All right, give me a sec here. All right, let's do it. Let's bring this down here. All right, so get right into it. Get my trusty marker out. Okay, so let's get right into this. Alrighty. Now, structure-wise, remember I said there was a bullish imbalance to the profile, right? Yesterday. So this is our profile now. Still has that bullish imbalance, but obviously we broke lower. Okay, broke lower. Ultimate balance up here did its thing yesterday when the market moved away from it. So longs got punished yesterday. Longs got punished. Now the job of the market now is to move the most traded price of the week right here down here. That will cement acceptance lower and the market can move lower. Okay. If it can't establish that, we'll go back here. Don't know if that happens. Okay. Look at yesterday. We were in ultimate balance. We opened, we only went up this much, and then boom, single prints. Hung out here. That's that's one of the most traded prices yesterday. Hung out here, dropped again. The most traded price here and dropped, but then, closed here. Okay? So, key levels for today. 50% of yesterday's move was 55.73. Where does that line up with monthly VWAP, week to date VWAP right there? That's supply also. That's defense for sellers. Okay? Now, where are some key levels here? Right? We have a week high here and multiple confluences here. So 55.44, write it down. 55.44 is the most traded price of yesterday. It's the overnight high. It's yesterday's close. It's yesterday's value area low. Okay? So right here, these are shorts. Okay? Shorts are piled in here. Price is down here. So I want to see what we do when we come into this area. What do we have above us? A little bit of a weak structure. Okay, there's single prints above us. This wasn't an all-out weak structure because you have volume here, but you got weak structure around this volume. Okay, so those are the levels I'm going to be looking at right there. Weak high, 55.44. Sellers need to defend there. Okay, sellers need to defend there. Now, right here in the ES, we're right at yesterday's lows. We have an overnight low. It's down here. So this is the overnight low, overnight high, yesterday's highs, yesterday's lows. Right now, we're right at yesterday's lows, accepting lower prices. This structure-wise is bearish. It's bearish. Most traded price of the overnight's right there. Okay, let's look at the inventory. Okay, we're 100% net short. 100% net short. Okay, and you're at the lower third of the range. Now this is key for a fade. Okay, you can see we worked our way into this gap. So here's the gap from the past. Okay, that's the gap. We came into that, and I believe we filled it a little bit partially. So do we fill that gap today? I don't know. All right, but these are what I'm looking at today. All right, that's going to bring me right into our scenarios. Let's talk about those. Let's get it going here. All right, so there's demand here, right? And now today I'm going to flip it because sellers are in control. Let's talk about the bear. 55.44, we know sellers need to defend this. We already know it's a weak high. Okay, sellers need to defend this. And then you got your 55.73 with supply in your week to date and month to date VWAPs. Okay, now the September just started, so they're together right now. All right, so price is down here. All right, so what could I see possibly happening? All right, if I'm a bear, what could happen off the open is we can come down, push down, hit that overnight lows, and then I think possibility is if G-Man's here, you take care of new business for old business. Okay, so you're 100% net short in the overnight, and if you cross here, whoop, I can see us coming right into this supply and testing this 55.44 area. If it gets rejected like this, lower high, you could then roll over and probably try to fill that gap, go into this demand here, right here. Possibly even go down to this naked VPOC down here, which is probably around, let's see the price there, 54.69. Okay, 54.69 is that naked VPOC. Okay, now that is one, right? Now also that could look like this: a swift push up, can't find acceptance above that, comes back in, same thing. Same thing. Okay, that's immediate. All right, now second, what if the market starts to just go up into this weak structure, cleans up these single prints, and comes onto this supply, what week to date view up, month to date view up, right? This is also where you could come down here and chill out. Of course, you could do that, but you could start building value down here. That's the short side. Okay, let's go to the long side. I just mentioned we're 100% net short, and 55.44 is a weak high. Okay, confluence high. So we're at the lower third of this session. So if I'm a long, there's a couple things I like here. We have a gap. Gap should get filled. If it doesn't, and supportive, that's bullish. Remember, this is intraday. Okay, it's bullish for an intraday. So what I'd like to see here, even a push up into this supply, come back, test. Yep, we got jolts at 10 a.m. We come into this demand, right? Maybe see we hold it, take care of these overnight most traded price, and start working our way up. Now, obviously, this would be the first test here, this big level. If we break that and hold that, I do see us coming up and at least tagging 55.73. Okay. Now, another scenario can happen is we do this, come down, fill the gap into this demand zone, really pop up, higher low, and this might come into here if you go that low, and you might hang out here, or you could still go up here. Okay. Now, it's very important to see what the internals do, because this could be, sell all the rips here. This could be the market waits for the rip, and then people sell. So who knows? I don't know. That's what I'm looking at. Okay, that's what I'm looking at. And the jolt jobs, just like G-Man said, again, probably wait for the noise to settle, the dust to settle, for you to engage there. Okay. All right, let's move on to this NASDAQ. And we're going to wrap it up here. So here's our NASDAQ, okay? Relatively weaker. Let's look at structure. All right. So we're gapping down. Okay, there's a gap here. an unfilled gap right here. We haven't filled it yet. Okay, we haven't filled it yet. All right. Now, let's look at this profile. Remember, I said it had kind of a bullish bounce. It still does, right? But we broke out of balance. So again, we need to see if the Nasdaq can bring this and make it the most traded price of the week. That would be bearish because that means that value is being built out here, and price follow value. That's bearish. All right. If it doesn't do that, we go back up. All right. All right. So we're gapping down, gapping lower, right? And there's a gap below. There's a gap below. Okay. Now we do have that weak high, just like we do in the ES. 190.20. Write that down. 190.20 is your weak high. It's the close. The overnight high. It is. Is it value area low? Close to value area low yesterday, similar to the ES. So sellers need to defend there. Okay. Midpoint of yesterday is 190, 197. That's the 50% retracement. Okay. Lines up with this supply. There's single prints as well in the NASDAQ above us. Like I said, though, big volumes around those, so those aren't the worst structurally. It's not the poor structure. It's just a little bit of emotional selling there. Okay, so we got a gap. So we got to talk about this really quickly. Here's yesterday's lows, yesterday's highs, overnight lows. Okay, so we're gapping lower. So remember, the most bearish thing is a gap and go. Second is, price comes in, fails to fill the gap, goes. And then third is fill the gap and go lower. And of course, if you start going back in the range, that means sellers aren't as strong. Okay, that's how you gauge the gap. Okay, that's how you gauge the gap. So what I'm looking at here is we're also 100% net short in the NASDAQ. I talked about this. G-Man knows about this. Usually the market likes to take care of new business before old business. We're 100% net short. We're down here. These are shorts, the most traded price of the overnight. This doesn't mean bullish. This just could mean a little correction. And take care of these shorts that are 100% net short in the overnight. You could definitely see a pop up here. Okay, so same thing in the ES like I just talked about. All right, same thing like I just talked about. Now the scenarios are going to be very similar in structure, so I don't even need to go in depth too much. All right, so now you have a gap here, so demand's not all the way to down here. So I really, like I said, I'm going to go with the shorts first. All right, remember, old business, new business. New business before old business. All right. So what I can see possibly happening, remember, 190.20 is the sellers need to defend this. So I could see we do this, maybe even fill the gap, pop up, take care of these shorts in the overnight, and come up and test this supply and this weak high. If we get rejected, we could then finally move down lower. All right. And this comes down to that most traded price of this year. That's that big high volume node. Okay. If this is bearish, really bearish, you kind of this should stop it. If we don't, wow. I mean, we can go down to this naked VPOC down here. And then there's another demand down here. So very interesting to see what we do with that level. Okay. Now, secondly, if we come up and we do want to push it up, cleaning these singles, then we have supply and the most traded price of yesterday. This could also be like this, come down, maybe fill the gap, and then I think we kind of bounce off. All right. On the long side. On the long side, Nasdaq's a little harder to be long on. It's relatively weak. Okay, so on the long side, I'm going to gauge this by the gap down here. And there's a little demand. So I want to see what we do in here. If we don't fill that gap and we start coming out, well, there's your fade in taking care of the new business for old business. And then you got to really see what we do with the 190.20 level. Do we push through it? Kind of hold it, and then I think you can make a run for the 197, 190, 197, the 50%. Okay. Now, it will be real crazy if you break that hold. You only have single prints, and you could work yourself up into value. I'm not saying that happens, but if you get through this area, there is not a lot of good structure up here. Okay? I'm not saying that happens today. I'm just saying that if you really got cooking, you know, still think we might de-risk, okay, before that. All right? I think that's really all I'm looking at today. All right? I'm going to be really patient today because volatility is going to be up, okay? So, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. And if you're new, please subscribe, set an alert if you haven't already. And please give me a thumbs up or a like if you enjoyed it. All right? Everybody have a great day. Stay green, stay patient, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.